I request Mr. Tabish, a student of MA Economics, to recite few verses from the Holy Quran. Tabish, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. So can you hear me?
Yes. Very nicely we can hear.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. صدق الله العظيم. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tabish. And to propose a formal welcome address, I request to our Honorable Principal of the College, Professor Dr. Aftab Anwar Sheikh, sir, to propose the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Sir, thank you very much. It is a great pleasure for us to hold this function to release the book of Dr. Malika Mistry entitled Muslim Women in India, Education and Exposure to Media. It is a great pleasure for us. I would like to extend my warm welcome to Honorable Dr. D.P. Singh sir, Dr. Benjamin sir, and Dr. Bhatt sir. Friends, women have established significant character in any society down the history. In the past, women have been appreciated and adored extraordinary status in society, but at the same time, they have witnessed unkindness, helplessness, violations, and most suppressed character of the society. Today, we are here, and when we go through the book, this book provides a richly evidenced and easy to read deconstruction of simplistic, culturistic explanation of any phenomena which pertain to Muslim women in Indian education and exposure to media. Once again, I welcome you all to this book release function. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful and warm welcome. The book entitled Muslim Women in India, Education and Exposure to Media. And to throw some light on the central theme of the book and the central idea of the book, I request our HOD, Dr. Shahi Jamal Ansari, sir, to please throw some light on the book. Over to you, Said, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gulnawaz. Honorable Principal, Professor Aftab Anwar Sheikh, sir, respected Vice Principal, Khan Moinuddin, sir, Professor Iqbal Sheikh, sir, respected dignitaries, Professor N. Benjamin, sir, Professor D.P. Singh, sir, Professor G.M. Bhatt, sir, respected Malika Mistry, madam, my dear teachers and students, a very good afternoon to one and all. First of all, I congratulate to Dr. Malika Mistry, madam, for writing such a mini encyclopedia related to Muslim women in India. Congratulations, madam. At the very outset, I take this opportunity to thank my authorities for giving me opportunity to organize such a wonderful program. We, members of Department of Economics, feel privileged and honored to organize this book release function in honor of scholar and author Dr. Malika Madam. I believe that this program will encourage our faculty members and young research scholars to follow the footprints of our senior faculty members, Dr. Malika Madam. Madam is a good teacher and research scholar. She has guided many research scholars. She is a social worker and activist. Madam has written several research papers, articles, and published them into journals of national and international repute. She has worked on many research projects and authored books based on this. Present work is also an outcome of a research project, a study of trends in education and exposure to media among Muslim women in India, based on National Family Health Survey, round 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as census data of 2001 and 11. This work, Muslim women in India, education and exposure to media, has systematically compiled and critically analyzed the finding based on NFHS and census data. Dr. Mistry Madam begins with an account of the socio-economic conditions of Muslims, followed by their demography and that of other minorities. She has soundly analyzed education levels and exposure to the media among women by religion, pointing out that generally the levels of education among Muslim women are the lowest in NFHS 1, 2, 3, and 4. In order to bring them on par with women of other religious groups, their educational status has to be improved. She makes recommendations for the upliftment of the Muslims in general and Muslim women in particular. Many of these are relevant to policymakers, though there is an increase in number of scholarships for Muslim students. It is inadequate and also their disbursement is delayed. And awareness of the rights and laws related to the minorities and other inclusion and education need to be promoted. Civic action to mobilize the community and build a vibrant environment for education should be undertaken. Madam has argued in this work that she has focused and said that work to be done also by the community itself for its own betterment. Muslim approach should be like that of the other communities such as Sikhs and Christians who have a sense of belonging to their community at macro level. Community leaders must acquaint themselves with various schemes for Muslims implemented by the government and should regularly monitor their progress. It should be ensured that Muslim students do not drop out. All these aspects of Muslims has been addressed in this book. When we compare with Hindu women, in this book, Madam has also compared status of Muslim women with the Hindu women. Educational backwardness among Muslim women is glaring. In order to make Muslim women competitive in Indian society, they need to be given higher education by concerted and long-term efforts. Such activism needs to be imparted to Muslim men and women so that they realize that literacy, education, and exposure to media are their rights and would empower them to lead dignified lives. Affirmative actions in education is the best way to enable Muslim women to catch up with women of other religions in a reasonable period. This requires a clear vision, a lot of planning, hard work, and missionary zeal on the part of the Muslim community and its leadership. All these aspects have been discussed in this book. Overall, Dr. Mistry Madam endeavor to provide demographic and socio-economic information about Muslim and non-Muslim women will pave the way for many more studies of different communities in India. With this, I again congratulate to Madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahid sir. The book has been reviewed by a number of renowned personalities, but here today we have two reviewers with us today, Professor Benjamin sir and Mr. M.A. Siraz sir. So first, I request to Professor Benjamin sir to express his views about the book. Professor Benjamin sir is the current fellow of the Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, and he was the ex-registrar of the same institution, that is Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics. With this, I request to the Benjamin sir, sir, please express your views on the book. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for inviting me to participate in today's proceedings. I read this book and I really enjoyed reading it because in the population of India, women constitute a weaker section, and in it, Muslim women are among the weakest. Therefore, they require scholarly attention, and Dr. Mistry has done well in covering this subject towards the close of the last century and the beginning of the present century. So I would like to thank Professor Mistry for making this endeavor. The study is based on the critical analysis of the findings of the 4 rounds of the National Family Health Survey, covering the period 1992-93 to 2015-16, as well as the census reports of 2001-2011. After these introduction remarks about them, the author passes on to the discussion of the socio-economic conditions of the Muslims. She rightly says that poverty is widespread, not only among the scheduled castes and tribes, but also among the Muslims. By religious groups, every 3rd Muslim is poor, compared with every 6th Christian. The condition of Muslim women is particularly bad. A majority of them lives in urban ghettos and slums, facing violence and lack of basic facilities. Nor do they have social security or access to the existing welfare policies of the state. The community is educationally backward, owing to economic plight, and its children face harassment in school. In the case of girls, the additional problems are lack of schools and colleges in areas where most of them live, stress on religious education, early marriages, and male domination are other problems. The next chapter of the book deals with the demography of religious groups. Although Muslims constitute only about 12% of the total Indian population, their absolute number is quite large, so much so that India has the 4th largest Muslim population in the world. In this context, I would refer to the next set of chapters which deal with the results of the National Family Health Surveys. The first survey, covering 1990-93, showed that in India as a whole, 60% of Muslim women were illiterate, with Haryana having the dubious distinction of as much as 98% illiteracy. In Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh, the situation was better, but still illiteracy was high at around 50%. The second survey was for 1998-99. It found that the Muslim women lagged the most in all the categories of education among the religious groups in different states. They composed of the largest number of illiterates. As the level of education rose, the gap between the Muslim women and those of other religious groups widened. Then we find that in the third survey, the Muslim women were less likely to be exposed to media vis-a-vis women of other religions. But for listening to the radio programs, they were the second lowest. Overall, the percentage of women not regularly exposed to any media was the highest among the Muslims. This is a serious matter because this means that the social consciousness among the Muslim women is very little, and this situation has to be improved. The fourth survey is for 2015-16. It found that Muslim women lagged behind women from other religious groups in almost all the states in school attendance. This is a very serious matter, and this has to be corrected. In the backward states, the differentials were large, but were comparatively small in the progressive states. In other words, while the benefits of development were widespread, full benefits eluded the Muslim women. As for exposure to media, generally Muslim women were less exposed to any media than those of most other religions. This included newspaper or magazine reading, viewing TV programs, listening to radio programs, and watching films in theaters. The percentage of women not regularly exposed to any media was the highest among the Muslims. This is again a very serious matter, and this requires to be corrected. Dr. Mistry then passes on to the trends in the level of education and exposure to media. As expected, there was a sharp decline in the percentage of illiterate women in all the communities. There was a drastic decline among Muslim women too. It is heartening that there has been a sharp increase in the percentage of Muslim women who completed the middle school. In 2015-16, the percentage of women who studied above the high school level was the lowest among the Muslims, which again is a very serious matter. As for the above high school category, while women of all the religions showed a sharp increase during this period, it was the slowest among the Muslims. As for exposure to media in various forms of media, there was an overall improvement among women of all the religious groups. But generally, the Muslim women exhibited the lowest level of exposure to media. Sorry. Changing levels of education from 2001 to 11 among the women are also examined by Dr. Mistry. While at the All India level, the literacy rate improved for women of all the communities, Muslim women continued to be at the lowest end. In the non-technical diploma category, the highest increase was among the Muslim women. The author suggests that it may be that they opted for courses like diploma in Arabic, Urdu, or Persian. She also feels that the Muslims are mostly self-employed and artisans. Hence, it may be easier for them to complete non-technical diplomas. Finally, the book has the conclusion. To bring Muslim and non-Muslim women on par, the educational status of the Muslim women needs to be improved. True, there are scholarships, but their disbursement is delayed. At the lowest level in schools, amounts of the scholarships are too meager to be attractive. Computer literacy and self-learning need to be promoted. Speaking areas, more schools should be established and Urdu teachers appointed. Provisions of reading rooms and libraries is essential in these areas. Starting of Urdu preschool classes in schools run by the government should be considered, which is a very healthy suggestion. Above all, Muslims should change their mindset and show more interest in modern scientific education. This is a very important thing because we have to help ourselves, not only among the Muslims, but among all the communities if we have to come up. In addition, data should be collected on the education of Muslims, as without it, remedial action is not possible. In this, though a beginning has been made, but there is a lot which has to be done. These are some of the recommendations made which should be helpful in solving the problem of backwardness among the Muslims. At the same time, there are some recommendations which I consider to be of doubtful validity. Even if additional reading rooms are established, it is possible that Muslim women may not use them along with the male readers. Then the author says that the government should establish ITIs, etc., to train Muslim youth for employment. I think this is necessary, but it will be not only for the Muslim youth, but for the youth of all the communities. There cannot be job reservations for any particular community in India, because if it is done for one community, the demand will be raised by other communities for the same. Then the author says communalism against Muslims has to be fought as it leads to their ghettoization due to a sense of insecurity. And then she suggests there is an urgent need for government and political parties to treat Muslims in general and Muslim women as equal citizens and not as vote banks. This has to be taken with a pinch of salt, because there is no deliberate discrimination against any particular community in India. And what I feel is that not only among the Muslim women, but all women of all the communities in India have to go ahead and make their own efforts, and the members of that particular community have to help them in doing so. But overall, there is no doubt about it that this is a useful study of an Indian community. And I think the greatest contribution of this book is that it will trigger more studies of Muslim women. And this will help the Muslim women to catch up with the women of other communities. I think Dr. Mistry needs to be congratulated for doing this pioneering work. Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Thank you so much, sir. And we have the second reviewer also, Mr. M.A. Siraj sir. Siraj sir is currently a journalist and managing director of News Trial newspaper. I request you to please express your view on the book. Over to you, Siraj sir.
Now unmute it.
गुलनवाज,
Yes, ma'am.
अब अनाउंस करो उनका नाम। सिराज भाई का मैंने बात करी उनसे, वो रेडी हैं।
Yes,
सिराज भाई का
madam.
नाम अनाउंस करो। हेलो,
I have
अनाउंस किए क्या? हेलो,
I
Yeah.
request to M.A.
हाँ
Yes.
क्या? He's there now. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you are audible.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and Namaskar. So whoever is listening to my point of view, I went through this book about a month back, and we have recently launched a newspaper, English daily newspaper from Bangalore for Mistry. And we received this book early in November, and we in fact reviewed this book in our review columns on a Sunday on 21st November. And I will be giving a few salient points which I noted down from book. First, Dr. Malika Babasaheb Mistry should be congratulated for producing this book, because she has mined a lot of data from the 4 national family health surveys. National family health surveys are indicators of women and children who form the basis of health of any nation. And so far, about 5 NFHS have been held in India, across India. The last one, the NFHS 5 results were announced only 2 months back. These were held in 1992-93 was the first NFHS survey. Second was in 1998-99. Third was 2005-06. And fourth was 2015-16, and fifth was 2019-21. And it took about 3 years because of the lockdown and pandemic, etc. The main objective of the survey was to collect reliable and up-to-date information on fertility, family planning, mortality, and maternal and child health. And Dr. Malika Mistry, she authored the book called Women in India, Muslim Women in India, Education and Exposure to Media. It is published by Institute of Objective Studies. It is very well produced book. And a lot of data is there. In fact, if someone would be glancing through its pages, might read it as only a book of figures and statistics, but the chapters which have been written in the beginning and in the last, they carry a lot of useful information for the readers, and I had the opportunity to go through the book and review it for our daily news trail. To begin with, let me put the objectives for various levels of education. There are three distinct levels of education, that is primary level, secondary level, and higher education. Primary level is up to 7th standard, and it is for making an individual literate. Literacy is the objective of the primary education. Secondary education is up to 12th grade, and it is for inculcating good citizenship. Higher education, which leads up to degree or postgraduate or research, is for economic growth of the nation, economic growth of the individual. Anything like MBBS, BE, BTech, BM, BSc Agriculture to be included in higher education. So these are the three distinct levels of pointed out reasons for Muslims being laggards in education. Muslims are currently the most educationally backward community in India. The reasons cited in the book is that perception that women are better suited in roles of mother and wife. Second, distance between schools and homes is more, and girls are withdrawn if the distance is between the home and the school is more. Third, there is a perception that more educated women will be uncontrollable for husbands, and prospects of marriage would be bleak. This also regards the education of women among them. There is a Quranic verse which says, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa'i," which is mostly quoted by the Muslim ulama, and it is taken to legitimize patriarchy. It needs to be reinterpreted. The current interpretation of Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa'i is that men should uphold the women's rights, or men should stand up for women. Fifth is poverty leads families to send boys to garages and adding marriage of the girls. I have been working in the educational field of Muslims also, giving out scholarships, interviewing Muslim girls and boys every year, and training them, counseling them, holding hands, mentoring them, and all that. And I have coined this word that Muslims withdraw their children very early in education. The reasons are boys for garage, that is, they are trained as mechanics in the auto mechanics as in garages, and girls for marriage. So this should not happen. I am telling it with my experience in the context of Karnataka. The situation might be different in different states. Today, the situation is that Muslims are most backward in education, even more backward than scheduled castes. There is a high dropout rate among them, while among the general population, the percentage of graduates is 6%. Among Muslims, it is just half. Situation in South Indian states is a little better, with Muslim graduates accounting for nearly 4%, but in the northern states, it's 2.8%. Look at Jains, which is a very small community, just half, maybe about half a crore or 5 million. The Jains are about 28% graduates. Christians are 8% graduates. Christians are just 2.3% in India. And most educationally backward Muslims reside in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and UP. And there are splinter states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Uttarakhand. You can add Haryana also to this category, but statistically, even the general literacy rate in those various states, which are known as Bimaru states, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and UP, is very low. Even the mainstream literacy rate is also poor. Among them, Muslims are still much poorer. Muslims in Kerala and Tamil Nadu are almost on par with Hindus because these are the states where Muslims culturally and linguistically identify with the mainstream population. They study through Tamil medium, Malayalam medium. So general education imparted by the government schools also benefits Muslims in the equal measure. And the community people in Telangana, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh are fast catching up with the mainstream population. These are the few salient features which have been highlighted. Census figure has also been used by this book by Malika Mistry, 2011 census figure, which puts the general literacy rate among Muslims at 58%, Hindus 63%, Sikhs 67%, Christians 74.3%. The book covers MFHS 4. By the time it was written, MFHS 5 has also been made public, but it could not be, quite understandably, could not be included. Certain proactive measures have produced positive results. The book throws light on it. Under the Prime Minister's 15-point program, 90 minority concentrated districts were targeted for special measures. Special literacy rose from 52% to 63% in these districts between 2001 and 2020. But gap between Muslims and general population still grew from 4.2 to 4%. Means the general mainstream population was progressing at a much faster rate. So Muslims are still lagging behind. As far as Karnataka and Telangana are concerned, I can see with my own experience that Karnataka started about 200 residential government schools named after Morarji Desai, our fourth or fifth Prime Minister. And these special schools, which are residential in nature, they have contributed to the upgrading of Muslim education in a very substantial manner. So even Telangana has pursued this policy, and these two states, Muslims are catching up very fast with general mainstream population. During the last few years, Muslim women are enrolling for higher education. While it grew by 48% among general population, among the Muslims it grew by 49%, 1 percentage point more than the general population. As per media exposure, lesser number of Muslims were reading newspapers than general women. The study course 1998-99 NFHS survey, which was the second one, it says that while 20.2% Hindu women were reading newspapers, only 17% Muslim women were doing so. Malika Mistry has drawn a lot of conclusions, but two very prominent and substantial recommendations which come from her at the end of the book is more residential schools for girls would take care of safety concerns and commutation issues for Muslim girls. Second, check dropout rate. Families' economic stability would ensure that children study till late and do not join the work for earning. We should ensure this. And a third recommendation, which perhaps you could have included but has not been included, which is from my side, is that Muslims are facing a problem of medium of education. In most of India's states, Muslims speak about Urdu language, and they insist that the Urdu should be the medium of instruction, and that leads to a lot of problems. If Muslims could decide that Urdu could be a subject, but they would educate their children through the state medium of instruction, like for Karnataka, Kannada medium of education or English medium of education. In Maharashtra, perhaps Urdu is accorded a better place, more privileged place. But in UP and Bihar, Muslims are lagging far, far behind. And those states will have to, there the Muslims will have to conceive a policy whereby they could benefit from the general mainstream government schools. And if Hindi is taken as medium of instruction and Urdu only as a subject, perhaps Muslims would be upgrading their educational status in a much substantial manner. So this book, this particular book authored by Malika Mistry and produced by Institute of Objective Studies, it throws the light on the backwardness of the educational backwardness of Muslim women. And until unless we focus more on women, perhaps the family will not be educated. And if families are not educated, children will suffer, and our next generation, we cannot hinge or place more hope on our next generation. That is why I would recommend that many people who will be going through this book should benefit from the recommendations of this book and try to implement this all across Indian states. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I think the book's contents are quite good, quite substantial, and she has taken lot of labor she has put in and lot of effort she has taken, and these are going to benefit the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this much of for expressing this much of deep knowledge about the book, and you're expressing your views about the book. Thank you so much, sir. And today's chief guest, Professor D.P. Singh, sir. I welcome you. And D.P. Singh, sir, is the Associate and Dean, School of Research Methodology at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. And with these words, I request you to, sir, to please enlighten us about the book. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for giving a chance to speak on this work of Dr. Malika Mistry. I have been in touch with her many times. She wanted to do some work on after retirement. And that way I told that because to work on this educational and profile of the Muslim community. Long year back, I did for Minority Commission in Maharashtra one report that demographic, health and educational profile. But that was quite old in 2000 around. So I used 2001 census. So that way whatever is available secondary data like from census this 2000 and 2001 she has used to show the what is the level and pattern of Muslim population in the country. And also quite good that she has also given the data by district wise where one can see which are the district, how much their population is there. Only the problem is there like we don't have like directly relating like as I appreciate Dr. Siraj whatever he said that how the differences are there north versus south. So it is always well known the people from especially in South Indian states educationally they have been quite showing the good progress with irrespective of the community whether it is Hindu or Muslim. So we always know that difference in the Muslim and other community in Kerala and other those South Indian states are not that much, but the North Indian state is still they lack. What are the regions? It is all well known, and also maybe mostly what I will say that it is a kind of their attitude, especially attitude towards the girl children. Actually, maybe after 2 days, this India is celebrating Girl Children Day, so a lot of things one need to do, and especially as we saw that. Now over the year, like since census also shows and NFHS also shows the improvement among all the community in terms of whether it is education or it is in the terms of fertility or mortality due to our availability of the better services. Every community is benefiting, but still that lack of education among Muslim and especially Muslim women is somewhere one need to address it. And I feel that many times, like most of this political party during the election, they start saying that we are vote bank or we will be used. But other time, no one is bothered about how to encourage the community to go for it. If you remember, number of university, lot of people, something I don't remember, like Aligarh Muslim University and all this, they came up. But what is happening to the other part of the country? No, this so-called leader, they know much better and all this, but they don't talk about all this, whatever, like how to improve the educational level of their children, try to don't not to make much discrimination between the girl child and this one. If one analyzes even this any education survey data, one finds earlier, the trend was earlier like most of these girls have to take care of their younger brother and sister. So therefore, they were given that type of role. But nowadays, one finds that a lot of children, they're saying, I'm not interested in the study. So even if one looks by the community wise, religion wise, one will find that among Muslims, like lot of children, they are saying that something somewhere is there. They're not able to cope up with the other community. So the no, uh, role of the other senior member of the community is that how to encourage, how to get some kind of solution, how the children become interested in the study. Whether it is as Dr. Siraj said that about the language problem. So many times that we need to have a common language preference so that it is available. They can also show their interest and move on. Otherwise, no girl child or no women in this one don't want to improve. Everyone want to improve, and one has found very clearly fertility has already come down. It is and NFHS is showing very clearly. Now many of the states are reaching to the below replacement level, and some of the communities, because of the reduction is too much in the fertility, even they are becoming a problem for them. Something like Jain or Parsi community. So a question is that how to improve the quality of education as well as encourage no, these girl children to move far up, whatever the way government tries, but same time also many of these trusts, they should also help to moving to the higher education. Even in the report also she found that over the year, the improvement in the higher education among Muslim is not that par with the other community. You can find that higher education, Sikh, Christian, this minority community, they have done much better than many of these major Muslim and Hindu one. So there one need to how to improve that percentage, because once the children coming up to the higher scale, then only they can move to the higher education, like doing their master degree or even much more some good skill they can develop it, and it is the question of working. So I think she has not touched that aspect of work population in the different community, even the difference between that Muslim and Hindu. But one will find that work participation among Muslim women is not that much. Most of them, they carry out only that non-worker, like housewife and all this one. So how that it is also well known that Muslim community in many is the population, like in Maharashtra, what I found that they are more concentrated in the urban area. So in urban area, and given the situation of the price and all this one need to have the additional hand to improve it. Otherwise, whatever you earn and it is spent on the this one, then it is the not one can hope to come at the higher level. But anyway, education is always, it is proved that it is a higher the education, better the education, and especially the women in the community, it also helps to the get far with the development activity, utilization of that. So that way I already that much this Dr. Benjamin and Siraj has already talked about that review of the whole work, what she had done. And I feel that based on her work and the compilation of lot of data from this at present, whatever is available, it will encourage also many people to go for deeper causes in the community. Take those surveys and all this one, but funding one should be provided. I have been, what my understanding was there many times, whatever the government gives the budget to the in the annual plan, even many times that those minority people, they are not able to use it. And especially what happened, like Minority Commission of Maharashtra, maybe some of the scholars of they are working on the Muslim and all this one, but like many of those community like Christian and Parsi and all this one, they are not much interested in those funding. They have enough. So it is better to how to encourage not only utilization of the government schemes, but also thinking about that co-education much better way. Now situation has come, keeping as a separate boys and girls and not going for co-ed and this one, it is all to me seems as a, a negative point. So there need to be understanding among those parents also that such kind of discrimination or preferences will not help unless the people go for a co-education type. Then people, children, they learn and all this one, and one can do much better. So main thing is there. My suggestion would be to, based on whatever she has found and many more study will come up, that there need to be to educate more their old generation to come up with the, you can get the fruit of the development unless you no, don't try to see some special favor and all this one. Otherwise, all this over the years in independent India, community have been exploited by the mostly all these politicians. So I congratulate Dr. Mistry to going to this one, even a very, during this Corona period, finishing her work. She used to come to my house and we used to discuss it and would suggest her to keep busy and do some more work, much more deeper type one. And once this NFHS 5 comes out, use that data, because at present one can get the data about every district of country. Many aspects are there, like what is that malnutrition among children, anemia among women and children, all this type of some issues, because which will take care of the health issue. And at present, since they have not released that main report, so it will take time to get the how much improvement has been done by the community wise. Maybe within 4 or 5 months, probably all those data also will come up. And also she has done a lot of hard work. Census data is fine. You can get from the, you can download from that website and compute all those number and percentage and you put in the report. But she has used all these 4 round data where she has gone specifically to using raw data and coming out with those tabulation, because many of the her work relate to that. So that way, I'm thankful to this Pune College and Dr. Anwar Sheikh to invite me to give my thought. Already I wrote, because I was just wondering why she is asking me, because I added in her report that forward. But anyway, that's good. And maybe I have written some little bit piece to this Sakal newspaper, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'm not able to read what they, because I gave them in English and they translated it. So more or less, the person hopefully he has done his job. Okay. So thanks, Professor Anwar and other colleagues to give me this opportunity. And I congratulate Dr. Malika Mistry and wish her that some more work, more focused work on the health and health of children and all this one. Yeah. Okay. So over to back to.
Thank you so much, sir, for expressing your views on the book. And thank you for all your best wishes for the madam and for our department. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Before we go further, I request to the chief guest of the day, Professor D.P. Singh, sir, Principal Aftab Anwar Sheikh, sir, Professor Benjamin, sir, Professor Siraj, sir, HOD Economics, Dr. Shahid Jamal Ansari, sir, Malika Mistry, madam, Professor G.M. Bhatt, sir, and Miss Samra, madam from iOS to release the book. I request to all other members also, please, to release the book.
Hello. I'm supposed to speak. Gulnawaz.
Yes, madam, आप बाद में बोलो ना. Yes, you can speak.
हाँ
First,
सर,
let us
हाँ सर,
release the
रिलीज
book,
करो
yeah.
सर. नहीं बराबर है सर. भट्ट सर को आप बोलिए बोलने के वास्ते. भट्ट सर को भी रिक्वेस्ट कीजिए बोलने के लिए. अभी इतना सारा सुने ना, वो बोलेंगे. ठीक है सर, रिलीज करो किताब आप. जी सर, रिलीज कीजिए ना आप.
DP Singh sir.
How I'm getting opposite?
Yeah.
How? No. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I request to Professor G.M. Bhatt to have some words on the book. G.M. Bhatt, sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all of you. It was really wonderful to be a part of this function, which was organized by Institute of Objective Studies for the release of a very important book on a very important theme, which has been carried out by Dr. Malika Mistry. Well, I know Dr. Malika Mistry for a long time, and I have been always finding that she has always shown interest in knowing about or in making an explanation of the problems associated with the Muslim women. She has carried a number of studies so far, which she discussed with me a number of times. And this time she has come up with a compiled collection of these research theme where she has explored the problems associated with the education of Muslim women. Well, when we talk about this Muslim women, education problem of Muslim women, we cannot forget that we have these problems associated with the education of Muslim women, which are specific to the regions. Maybe in some areas you may find some problem, and in another region you may have some different set of problems which are associated with the problem of education of the Muslim women. So that way, it will be nice that if such studies are carried out at different levels in different areas, so that you can come up with a set of variables which can be identified as the root cause of the problem associated with the education of Muslim women. And then we can have a set of recommendations at the national level, which can be taken up by the government, semi-government, and the NGOs like Institute of Objective Studies to fulfill the main objective of empowering the Muslim women as far as the education is concerned. Just for the information of Malika Mistry, one of my students has also worked on this problem. She has been working on this theme, and where she has not only studied the problems of the education of Muslim women, but also associated with the employment of educated Muslim women. And there she has found out that initially the Muslim women who are educated are not able to get that kind of job which can suit them. But as the education level increases, then there is low demand for the job by these Muslim women. I don't know how far it is true in some other states, but here she has found that as the education level improves, then there isn't much demand by the Muslim women as far as the job is concerned, because according to her, they don't feel that they have that kind of that urgency in going for some job outside home. So there may be a number of studies taken by a number of research scholars, researchers, and if at the macro level, we can have a research study by some agency, sponsored by some agency like the Institute of Studies, where we can get the data from the grassroots level, from different areas, from different households, so that a set of solutions can be forwarded and those can be implemented and adopted for the betterment of the Muslim women. At the end, let me thank the organizers for inviting me and for being the part of this function. And I also take the opportunity of congratulating again Dr. Malika Mistry for coming up with such a nice book, which I have not read so far. And in fact, it was only before the function started that I got the invitation from Dr. Malika Mistry. Otherwise, most probably I would have gone through the contents of the book and I would have given my inputs regarding the book and regarding the problem which she has taken in hand in the book. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words and valuable time to spare with us. And now I request to Dr. Malika B. Mistry, Madam, author of the book, to express her thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Audible, audible, ma'am.
Okay.
Audible.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see me properly? मैं दिखती हूँ बराबर? Okay. Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and good afternoon. I will try to talk about those things which are left out. The speakers have critically elaborated on the contents in the book and their relevance for policy making. It's very painful to see that Muslim women are lagging behind. Revelation of Quran starts with the word ikra, that is read. There is a hadith which says that from cradle to grave, it's compulsory for a Muslim to acquire knowledge. Another hadith says, even if you have to go to China, go and acquire knowledge. Then how do you explain the educational backwardness of Muslims in general and women in particular? The community has neglected itself and its women. The leaders are not really interested in the prosperity of the community. In the modern society, through education alone, one can achieve social and economic mobility. Let us remember this point with abundant care. So the community has to take great interest in education and particularly with women's education. Also pressurize the government to provide educational facilities. This requires vision and missionary zeal on the part of the community. Many times due to lack of data, good policies are not made. In this humble attempt, I have tried to provide the necessary data on Muslim women's education. Please examine the data again and again and take concrete steps to ameliorate the situation. We need many more activists to undertake this gigantic task. We have Mrs. Mullah, who established Urdu school, vocational courses, and junior college at Hadapsar in Pune. We also have Muhammad Ashraf in Kondwa, who is trying to provide as many scholarships to Muslim boys and girls. He left his engineering job to guide and help the community to achieve education. We need many more such grassroots level leaders and dedicated activists to achieve our goal. I pray to God Almighty to fulfill this void in our community. I need to thank many persons who have helped me in preparing this report. I used to go to Professor Sanjeevani Mule of the Gokhale Institute very often. She guided me from time to time. As you already noted, I used to go to Singh sir all the way to New Bombay from Pune to discuss with him. And Dr. Bhavna Deshpande, Department of Statistics, Pune College. Dr. Gupta, Adult Education Department, SPP University. My ex-student, Dr. Abdul Jalil, and many others have helped me in analyzing the data to write a sound report. My heartfelt thanks are due to all of them. I am grateful to Professor D.P. Singh, Professor Benjamin, and Mr. Siraj for agreeing to speak in this function. They are very busy people. They were kind enough to take out time for our program. Thank you so much, sir. Principal Anwar sir, Vice Principal Mr. Iqbal Sheikh, Professor Shakil Ahmed, ex-HOD of Economics, all of them cooperated with me. Today's function has been organized under the guidance of Anwar sir and Mr. Iqbal Sheikh by the faculty members of Department of Economics, Dr. Shahid Ansari, Dr. Gulnawaz, and Dr. Vidya Sagar. Many more persons are involved in organizing this program. I will remain deeply indebted to all of them, all of these kind-hearted and caring colleagues. Thank you once again to one and all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us and lead us on the right path. Amin. Now I'd like to stop. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, madam, for these words. And before we go to the end of the program, I would like to say a line, I think, that the book has its own importance because whatever the problem that women are facing nowadays in this particular century, the problem or the solution is just the education. If the women are educated, they can raise their voice against the social deprivation, against the cultural and the political. So the solution is just the education. So we want to try more, we want to inculcate more education to the women or to the girl child. And at the end of the event, I request Dr. Vidya Sagar, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Pune College of Arts, Science and Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Vidya Sagar, sir.
Thank you, Gulnawaz, sir. I take the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. I am highly grateful to our management, Yatim Khana and Madrasa, Anjuman Khairul Islam, Mumbai, for giving permissions to organize such a wonderful online book release function. On behalf of management and authorities of our college and Department of Economics, I congratulate the author, Dr. Malika Mistry Madam, for having given young research scholars an inspirational book. Overall, Dr. Malika Madam endeavor to provide demographic and socio-economic information about Muslim and non-Muslim movements will pave the way for many more studies of different communities. I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. D.P. Singh, Sir, Professor and Associate Dean, School of Research Methodology, Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai, for gracing the occasion and enlightening us about the book. I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Benjamin, Sir, ex-registrar and currently fellow at Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics, Pune, and to Mr. M.A. Siraj, Sir, journalist and managing director, News Trail newspaper, Bangalore, for their valuable comments and view about the book. I must thank to our principal, Sir, Dr. Aftaf Anwar Sheikhs, for always inspiring and motivating us to organize such programs and giving his sustained support and guidance. I'm also thankful to Vice Principal Professor Monuddin Khan, Sir, and Professor Iqbal Sheikh, Sir, for their continuous appreciation and support. I am thankful to our head of the department, Dr. Shahid Jamal Ansari, Sir, for managing all affairs minutely. I am also thankful to our colleagues, Dr. Anna Madam, Dr. Gulnawaz Sir, for conducting such a successful program. I am also thankful to Farooq Sir for technical support. Last but not least, I am thankful to all respected participants for attending the session and making this program a success. Thank you one and all. Over to you, Gulnawaz Sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Principal, sir, may I conclude the program?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks to everyone.